This troubled daughter plead for a second chance and hopes to avoid a felony conviction, so the judge listened to her mother's heartfelt testimony.
I'm looking at her criminal history. She's been on deferred adjudication before, and that deferred adjudication was revoked, and she was given 44 days in the Bexar County Jail. So why should I grant her deferred adjudication? She's been given deferred before.
When I got put on deferred adjudication the last time, I was very young and I was freshly new into my and didn't know as much as I know about myself now. And I wasn't willing to do the work that I am willing to do now.
You want to call mom? Just before we start, I want you to know your testimony. If I don't give her deferred, it's not your fault. If I do give her your deferred, so there is no need for you. Every answer that you give me is the correct answer. When she was in her in the past, were you able to notice changes, and could you tell that there were issues?
I am a registered nurse, and there are times when I've seen it, yes.
So you would be able to know if there are some issues if she were falling off her schedule.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And if she were to fall off her schedules.
And she's out of my house.
All right. Court is going to sentence you to 6 years deferred adjudication. All right. Court is calling 2024 CR 1309, State of Texas versus Megan Kathleen Conacher. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense.
Lorraine Ephraim for Megan.
And are you Miss Conacher?
Conacher.
I know I keep mispronouncing your name. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Just give me one moment. All right. We're here for sentencing in this matter. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 8 years in the prison, and the state is silent on your application.
Well, I think what it is, they're recommending probation, but silent on deferred.
That is correct. Thank
Okay,
you.
Yeah, I want to make sure.
All
And I
right.
think it's kind of an unusual, I think it's a 7-year, an 8-year underline with a 7-year rec.
All right. So have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state? Defense, any objection to the PSI report?
No, Your Honor.
Have both parties had a chance to review the TAP evaluation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the TAP evaluation?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Then the state is silent on the application for a deferred adjudication. Defense, do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor. I guess I would like the court to note that her mom is here in support, and I have some things I'd like to urge on her behalf. She may want to say a few words.
All right. So I'm looking at her criminal history. She's been on deferred adjudication before, and that deferred adjudication was revoked, and she was given 44 days in the Bexar County Jail with the judgment satisfied. And so why should I grant her deferred adjudication? She's been given deferred before.
I understand, Judge. Megan's come a long way, and she's still in process. She's suffered a lot of trauma over her life and her childhood, and then was kind of deep in her addiction, which led to this offense. Since then, she has begun counseling and is sober.
Yes.
And she feels like the counseling that she's engaging in right now is very helpful to her.
I'm also on medication now.
And she would greatly value the opportunity to avoid a felony conviction if possible. Due to her age and circumstances in life, it could be really important for her not to have that felony conviction. Although we did talk at length about it, and you can see it's kind of an unusual deal for us to come like this, but and we're appreciative of the probation. She just would like an opportunity, if she could, to prove herself and to avoid the conviction. And she has an appointment with her counselor this Wednesday, in fact.
Just one moment. Excuse me, no talking behind the court reporter. All right, you may continue.
Okay. And did you want to say?
Just that when I was offered deferred the first
You want to
time,
raise your right hand?
sorry,
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes, ma'am,
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Megan Kinnicker.
All right, you may proceed.
When I got put on deferred adjudication the last time, I was very young and I was freshly new into my addiction and didn't know as much as I know about myself now. And I wasn't willing to do the work that I am willing to do now.
All right, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Who is Tyree Ranford?
He's the guy that I'd met at the bus stop who had.
So are you employed
I work for an app called ShiftSmart.
and what do you do?
I go to different Circle K's and I either clean the store or stock their walk-in freezer.
All right. Any other witnesses you want to call, Mom,
No.
so that I can have?
I didn't talk to the mom about testifying, but if she's here, I think she'd be willing to see if the court had any questions for her.
I do.
Okay. What's her name? Maureen Henniker.
All right, the deputy is going to have you stand over there. All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Maureen Kemper.
All right, so I have a few questions for you.
Okay.
All right, I'm trying to make a decision on whether or not to give her a felony conviction or whether or not to give her deferred adjudication. So just before we start with my questions, I want you to know that your testimony, if I don't give her deferred, it's not your fault. If I
Okay.
do give her your deferred, so there is no need for you. Every answer that you give
Right.
me is the correct answer. So is she currently living with you?
Yes.
All right. And when she was placed on deferred adjudication back in 2015, was she living with you or no?
Oh, yeah, no,
All right.
no.
So what is her daily routine like with you?
It varies. It depends on if she has a shift. If she has a shift, she's up and gone before I'm up because she has to take the bus.
Mhm.
Otherwise they're home. I mean, her daughter's at the house too. She's 14 and we're homeschooling. There's other issues with her daughter. It's just if either she goes to work or she's at the house, honestly.
You wake up, you make breakfast.
No,
What
I
ti-
wake up and run out the door to work.
Okay, what time do you normally wake up?
I'm up by like 5:30, 6
And
on a
what-
workday.
And what time are you out of the house?
I gotta be by 7 or I'm late for work.
Okay. And then Megan and her daughter, are they
Are home.
they're
Yeah.
usually up or getting up?
Bella, not so much, but Megan, yeah.
All right. So when she was in her addiction in the past,
Mhm.
were you able to notice changes and could you tell that there were issues?
She wasn't at my house when she started that.
Okay.
I am a registered nurse and I have seen it. There are times when I've seen it, yes.
All right. So you
In
would
the
be able to
past.
know if there are some issues if she were falling off her schedule.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
All right. And if she were to fall off her schedules,
Then she's
Would-
out of my house.
all right. Well, before she's out of your house, would you be willing to contact probation?
Oh, yeah, if
All right.
that's what you want me to do, absolutely.
And what I can tell you, this defense counsel will tell you that if someone has a mental health issue, if they have a issue, my goal when they're placed on probation is to help them with that and help them stay on track. Of
Mhm.
course, if they're not doing their part, then sometimes there's nothing I can do for them but send them to prison. So I will want to alleviate any fears that you have that sometimes parents may have. Oh, I can't tell probation because my child will go to prison.
Ma'am, I'm a registered nurse. I can't have it in my house.
Okay.
I can't.
So you'll let us know?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Well, I guess it would, if I.
Sure.
Did she Does it appear to you she's doing better now?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, she had lived with, so she was very good right before COVID, right? And we actually went through getting her daughter away from her dad
Mhm.
because that was a big thing.
Mhm.
And she did great. She actually homeschooled her daughter and my other granddaughter because she was the only one that got furloughed.
Mhm.
She did wonderfully all through that. Then she kind of slid a little bit after that. And then she left. And so, yeah,
So she had a pretty bad relapse. She was out there,
right.
but now she's doing better.
Yes.
Does she appear clearer to you?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I can tell. I can tell. When she's eating me out of house and home, I know she's good.
Is she eating you out?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, I love that. Thank you.
The
All right.
truth.
No, I
Thank you
love
so
it.
much.
I think we all know that's a good
Any
sign.
questions, State?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, if you'll come forward. So according to the TAP evaluation, I think they're recommending DDRF. Is that correct?
I did see that rec for the DDRF and Mick.
And it's
your analysis after and summer support.
I'm sorry?
Your monthly your analysis and summer support.
And
All right, are you currently receiving mental health treatment?
Yes, ma'am.
And who is that with?
Right side?
do you have your phone here?
Yeah.
Would you mind if we showed the appointment on her phone?
Oh, no, she just will need to give it to
Okay.
probation.
She has some information on her phone if the court would care to see it.
No. She'll need to show it to probation.
Okay.
So probation, I'm thinking we'll start with, since she's already receiving treatment through Brightside, you're gonna have to sign a release so that probation can have that and they'll know when your appointments are. DDRF, that's in custody. So you need to make sure that you stay on track with everything.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you to 6 years deferred adjudication. There's to be no contact with Tyree, Tyree, Ranford, Ranford. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs, MIC caseload, continued treatment with right side, field visits 1 time per month for 6 months, 120 sober meetings in 120 days, $1,500 fine that will be probated, 200 hours of community service restitution. What is your dream job?
Dual diagnosis substance abuse counselor.
Okay. If you are able to do that and complete it and obtain your certification, the court will deem the community service hours satisfied.
Okay.
Probation, is there anything else? I'm sorry, proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Anything else, probation? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful? Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, we can go off the record in this courtroom and state your excuse. In this courtroom, to be successful on probation, communication is key. If you have an issue, you need to let probation know. If you feel as though they're not addressing it, you can always come back to court. You're going to need to sign those releases so probation can make sure that you're keeping up with your appointments at Brightside. Do you understand? Do you have any questions about anything? All right, just wait in the courtroom and probation will go over conditions for you.
In Your Honor, I thought the misdemeanor was being TIC'd on this.
Let me check and see. Yes. And taking consideration 707107.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Does that mean I have to put that on the file?
No, they'll get this.
This pregnant mother struggles with a drinking problem, so the judge makes her understand the serious consequences of her actions.
Judge, she has 3 children and she's 7 months pregnant. She has not had a drop of alcohol since the incident. She explains to me she's very eager to get help in dealing with her alcohol problems.
Obviously, you have an alcohol problem and you are one of those people who cannot drink alcohol whatsoever. If you continue this vein, what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up either killing somebody or you're going to end up in prison. And no amount of children that you have to take care of is going to stop you from going to prison. Do you understand?
I understand.
You've been to court before on a driving while intoxicated with a child in your vehicle. So if you don't want to get clean and sober for yourself, do it for your children. Because what would end up happening is if you end up going to prison, I could be wrong, but usually guys don't wait for women when they go to prison. Women will usually wait for guys when they go to prison. And you're going to end up in a situation where it's going to be like hand that rocks the cradle. When you come back, somebody else is going to be taking care of your children and calling them mom. You understand?
I do.
So you better get serious about your sobriety. All right? Court will sentence you to 4 years in the prison.